Hello, everyone, and thank you. If you were just waiting for us to go live, we had some technical difficulties on Google's end using Google Meet, trying to get the grid view, which was working the last time, and wasn't working. It's not working now, and I can see that we're frozen in our end. So this is great. Um, this is just going freaking swell. There we go. Now we're moving. So minus technical difficulties. Welcome. We got our live reactions to AEW, Fyter Fest, and NXT, The Great American Bash. John, what did you think of AEW?
I thought that it was a pretty solid show. Honestly, all in all, there was obviously some things that you can obviously I'm looking to pick at, but I really enjoyed it tonight, and it also sounds like on NXT's end that they had a pretty solid show as well, all things considered there.
Yes. And is this going to really happen every time I click the picture? It's going to freeze and I have to switch back. Oh, this is terrible. My God in heaven on earth. Because right now everybody's just seeing you with your eyes closed. Um, I got to stop. We might just not have to see you because
Yeah, that's fine. I don't
nobody
care.
wants to see that anyways. Hang on. No, I'm kidding.
Dick.
Okay. Because before we get into it, let me explain to you what's happening here, folks. So for the podcast last week, this past Saturday, we had three people. We had a special guest, Eric Perez,
Hmm.
and I used Google Meet because Zoom, if you get over two people, it's 40 minutes, and we're going to go less. We're going to go more than 40 minutes, and downloaded this extension for Google Meet to do the grid view, and did it. It worked. Yay, no problems. And so today I figured we could do the grid view again because it worked right before Eric joined. Me and John, we had the grid view on. I can see he can see me and I can see him. Well, obviously, but I can see both of us on the screen. And I was like, okay, let's do it this week. Wasn't working, so that's why we were late. Then I was like, okay, we're gonna go to Zoom because it's just two of us. And when I was trying to log in to Zoom using my Google account, because I have the little button on the bottom, sign in with Google, I did that. It would just take me back to the sign in page, and I couldn't do anything. So technology was like, screw you. You're not going to do a good show. So the compromise here is you get to see me and John's in the background with the audio, and I should put on captions. Uh, it doesn't matter. But anyways, what show you want to get onto first? Because I'm getting a little pissed.
I'll just start off with Firefest, so that you can cool down a little bit there, buddy.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
Um,
it.
so yeah, as I said, pretty solid show. There wasn't as far as a setup and stuff, like you saw some girls in like in like bikinis on like lounge chairs and stuff there, but like but like nothing too out of the ordinary from any other any other AEW Dynamite show. But we kicked off the show with a tag team match between Wardlow and MJF versus the Jurassic Express, which I felt was a very good tag team match. all four of these guys showed excellent chemistry. Um, um, it was just a pretty fun opener. Did were you paying attention to
I
this at
I
all,
tried for
or?
the whole show, and to be honest, I
Mhm.
didn't really pay attention to much of the whole show.
Okay.
I kind of had NXT focused. It was
Mhm.
hard because with technology, this TV here kept shutting off, so I went outside, and my dad was joining me, and we're talking, and there's only so much I can pay attention to at once,
Mhm.
and AEW kind of was the odd man out.
Yeah, but um, as far as some highlights from this match, it they while they did go on the outside here, it wasn't as like ridiculous as it was when they did Luchasaurus versus Wardlow last week. It was a lot more controlled. MJF or MGF and Wardlow constantly beating down Jungle Boy, and him constantly selling, eventually setting up for a for a like hot tag on for Luchasaurus, which was pretty cool uh how we avoided both both MJF and Wardlow there. And so one spot in particular, which was freaking crazy. I want to say with Luchasaurus that he did some form of of a somersault or something, and he came really close to possibly smashing his freaking neck on the side apron there, but that was a pretty cool spot. And this match ends when there was some sort of a like miscommunication with MGF and like Wardlow, so they're starting to tease out more with those two splitting up, and this did end with Luchasaurus getting a looking pinfall victory for Wardlow. So they were really playing up playing up
Oh man,
that whole thing there. So
I wish you can see. I put I want to just put on. I can't click out of anything here to be freeze. I put live captions on and trying to in Google trying to figure out what the hell anybody what you're saying in terms of wrestling is
okay.
hilarious. I
Yeah.
right now right now I'm just having I'm having a fun time with this because that's the only
This
thing I can do.
this
Uh,
is awful.
it is. This is a professional. I can't do. I gotta go out of full. This is okay. I know what I'm. I know what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Well,
Hang on. I'm gonna continue. Just go through the thing.
okay. So yeah, with this, I'm my whole thing with this is now it's going to be very interesting to see how things are going to be building up, because I wonder if they're going to be actually doing MJF versus Wardlow at whether it's for a future Dynamite episode, which I hope that is not the case. But I gotta feel like that they're kind of building for this possibly for All Out, which I'm not exactly sure how I would feel about that, but it seems like that could be a possible thing down down the line, and it should also be as of note here. MJF, he did not take or he did not eat the pin here, so he's still undefeated in AEW. Then we move on to the AEW Women's Championship between Hikaru Shida versus Penelope Ford. And before this thing even started, Matt, I I was saying there was nothing that they could possibly do to get me interested in this match, and I still stand by that. I still think that it was way too soon for Penelope Ford to be getting any title shots whatsoever. But I gotta say this was a really good match. Easily Penelope Ford's best singles match since she s- since she has been in AEW. Um, and this really elevated her, in my opinion. Um, and while on top of that, she looked really good here. Before the match, they kicked out Kip Sabian, which I was happy about because then there was so much less shenanigans, which and I guess a lot of my criticisms of of Penelope Ford has been her actual offense. It just has looked weak, um, to be perfectly blunt about it, and she was really good here. Everything looked sharp. It looked crisp. It didn't look phony or fake. The only criticism I have about this, it did seem it did seem that when she would um go for her finishing move or her stunner or whatever, it did seem too much with Sheeta that she was just waiting for Penelope Ford to basically just come to basically just come to her just to actually hit the move. But other than that, this was pretty good. One spot, Matt, I think that's going to really stand out was Penelope going all like a Matrix here, which
I
that
missed.
was
Again, I missed it.
yeah. So that was
Uh,
pretty cool. But yeah, really solid match, and obviously Sheeta wins. I just wonder where she exactly goes from here, just because she doesn't have any contenders, and that's something that needs to be that needs to be addressed. So yeah, well, then we move on to the TNT Championship between Cody versus Jake Hager, and I was shocked at how good that this thing actually was, especially a- after we saw Hager's last match, which was against which was or for a like title, which was a against the current world champion, um, uh, unlike John Moxley, and this just it flowed well. They weren't trying to make it a fake MMA fight, which is exactly what like his match against Moxley was. So I couldn't complain about this. I just didn't understand why they are having Dustin Rhodes interfering there for a second.
because it's the Cody Rhodes
That
match that always happens. It
yeah,
seems.
um, yeah, that was weird, but I get the sense too that they're slowly starting to begin a slow heel turn for him, because he's been doing more and more heelish things in the last few weeks that definitely make me think that there's somewhere that this is going to happen. So yeah, I can't really complain uh, about the match, and to this point on the show, I'm pretty entertained with everything that is I'm happy, and also really helps as well that 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 Chris Jericho was just, as always, is just amazing on commentary. Just it's very Bobby Heenan-esque, where it just with his one-liners and like how he's putting down baby faces and always putting over heels. I've always loved that style where he just where he over exaggerates um certain things. That's something I definitely really appreciate. Then we go to Private Party versus Santana and Ortiz. This was okay. I just didn't understand why Private Party got the win here. They just seem that they're kind of there at this point. Um, Obviously, they are now associated with a Matt Hardy now. Time will tell to see if that really means anything, but at this point, I'm just like, yeah, it is what it is. At this point, I just didn't understand why they put these guys over Santana and Ortiz here. And after this match, Chris Jericho just freaking lost it because with Hager losing and Santana and Ortiz losing, he just pretty much just snapped. And then after the match, he attacks Orange Cassidy, who was on commentary with him, and basically we had a huge like melee, and about like 6 or 7 security people came out and separated them. So that was the last that we saw of Jericho on commentary. Then we get a promo by Taz and Brian Cage, and this was just to basically announce that that for the world title match between Cage and John Moxley, that their title match will be in like 2 weeks and not for July 8th. This is obviously to do with the COVID situation with like John's wife, who obviously she tested positive, so I completely understand them wanting to be really just taking every precaution uh, imaginable here. So Taz, he gets on the mic and essentially took a few shots at WWE with basically how they ran with their shows and not taking care of the wrestlers and the employees there. Specifically quoting we don't run a sloppy shop, and so on and so forth. But this was just to set up for their title match, which is now on July 15th. Then we get to the main event between Hangman and Kenny versus Best Friends. And for some reason, Best Friends came out with Trent's mom dropping them off in a freaking Honda van, which irritated me because as is like, Matt, me and the Hondas are like,
Yeah.
So for the match itself, I was just not really into it. Obviously, Hangman and Kenny retain here, and not really surprising. And we had FTR on commentary as well. You would assume at some point they're probably are going to be getting a title shot, hopefully soon. But it was also announced for next week that that Private Party is going to be getting a title shot. I would imagine that this is because since they had to pull off on Cage, and John Moxley, that's probably what is happening here. So, and that's pretty much how the show goes off the air. I thought it was a pretty decent show. Like I said, yep, just outside of a few minor things, I really enjoyed it. So
There you go.
that was night one.
Okay. I don't know if you're seeing, but right now I just have the logo of the Wednesday Night War NXT versus AEW up right now, and this is turned into an audio only because I'm not. It was a cluster and a half before, so if anybody is watching, we guess 3 people watching. Thanks for being patient, and you're just gonna hear our beautiful voices instead of our beautiful faces. Okay, so let's go to NXT Great American Bash Week 1. We start out with the bookend of these 2 nights, or these 2 nights. This night with these 2 matches were all women's matches, and they were great. We start out with the fatal 4-way #1 contenders match for the women's championship. And I guess I missed this before. It was an elimination match. We had Tegan Nox versus Dakota Kai, Mia Yim, and Candice LeRae. Again, overall, this was pretty damn good. The first elimination was Mia Yim, and Candice. She was the first one to go. Continue that little story with them, and we'll get to that later. Then we had Dakota Kai eliminate Mia Yim, and we were down to Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox at the end, which, in my opinion, was the best part of the match between those two. There was a point in the match when they were doing the punches, the training the punches back and forth and the slaps, that traditional spot. I mean, at times, I don't know if they weren't really connecting and stuff. It kind of, if you're really paying attention, it didn't look as good as it should. But out of that, they were. I think I tweeted this. They were like selling their exhaustion throughout the match, so it worked in that sense. So those two did it really good. Knox did I know there's a different name for this, but like a cannonball to Dakota, who was sitting in the corner, but it wasn't like it wasn't the Kevin Owens cannonball, the front flip. It was like a senton, like back flip, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
I saw
and
a small clip of it.
Yeah, and Tegan's pretty much ass hit Dakota in the head, and she like really got whiplash right into that bottom turnbuckle.
If she was a little sore after that one, I would be
a little sore. I think she needs some Advil.
Yeah, you could say
so. That looked really, really bad in a good way, if that makes sense. But we got kind of surprised me in a way. Nox gets the win over Dakota Kai with the I believe the last thing she hit was the shiniest wizard. And I was thinking Dakota because you got the heel face dynamic with Io, but Nox deservedly so throughout her career gets the shot against Io down the line. And again, this was a pretty good match. Good way to start off the show. Then we get Damian Priest interview backstage, challenges Cameron Grimes to one-on-one. No circumstances leading up to it. No beating him with the car or any shenanigans. And he says the beating he will give him will live forever. And I want to say that's next week. Now, then we get to the next match, which wasn't really announced. But if you like your ground and pound, beat the crap out of each other, physical match, then Timothy Thatcher versus Oney Lorcan was for you. I missed the first third of this match or quarter of this match because, like I said earlier, this TV down here is crap and is an old flat screen. It keeps shutting off, so I went outside to watch it. But from what I saw, this was very good, very hard hitting. If you like this type of match, for something that was basically unannounced, it was good. And Timothy Thatcher gets the Fujiwara armbar submission for the win. And when the match ended, he didn't let it go until several seconds after. So they're building him as that tough son of a bitch. Then we get Rhea Ripley versus Robert Stone and Aaliyah in a handicap match with the stipulation of if Stone and Aaliyah win, then Rhea has to join the Robert Stone brand. Hey, John, you would have been proud of this. Robert Stone was trying to hit a crossbody out of the ring on the Rhea on the outside, and Rhea saw it and moved, and didn't wait forever to take it. You would have been proud.
Yeah, God, that's been like the one thing
that has been your soapbox.
Personally, it
is bad. I agree. When it's
like it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't so obvious that they were just clearly or just waiting for them to like say, "Hey, jump here, dive here." So I
the only time it works on TV, not so much in person because you can see it. And the one thing that comes to mind, and I could be wrong, is I think it was, oh my God, I can't think of the match. It was NXT. They did the War Games match. I think it was Ricochet on the top. They doing a dive onto Undisputed. I think it was Undisputed Era. Or there was a bunch of people, maybe War Raiders. Yeah, I'm saying that name, and whatnot. And so you can hide the fact that they're waiting more with camera work, but that's neither. No, what was funny?
I just saw a freaking gif on Twitter that of this one guy's reaction.
Oh. So anywho, so Robert Stone was he played the more comedic role in this match. Rhea didn't, at least from what I remember, didn't get played the chump too much, if at all. So she pretty much was the dominant person in the match. I mean, Aaliyah got some offense in, yes, but Rhea wasn't falling for most of, if not all, the shenanigans that Stone and Aaliyah were doing. So and that aspect, that was good. So sometimes maybe on the main roster the big stars and relative to Rhea Ripley would fall into the trap, but I don't think it happened this time. And the match was what it was. I mean, it wasn't 5 stars, it wasn't 4 stars. It was what it was, and it did its job. Next we had the Dexter Lumis versus Roderick Strong strap match. There was a lot of people that said they enjoyed this match. And don't get me wrong, I think it was good.
I saw a lot of people who were honestly pretty bored with it. From what I saw too. Yeah.
Well, man, we have weird difference on Twitters.
Yeah.
Wait? I gotta know. Were you using our account, or were you switching to your account?
I was
as well.
I was switching back and forth
Okay,
between
that's
like
the
my
reason.
like a few friends they they contact me. They're like, yeah, it's pretty boring from what
Yeah, there's something about it didn't. It was something was missing. With me. I mean, I guess the stat match was good. I, I guess they start fighting. At one point, they were fighting on the stage. They had cars out there, and Loomis opens the trunk, and Ruddy
Mhm.
gets the wide
Right.
eyes, but they didn't do anything from that. Roddy's fighting back. Fish eventually comes out, but to know doesn't really help Loomis much because Dexter Loomis hits the I think they're calling it the silent submission, like that side. I don't even know what to call it, headlock sleeper thing, and he had the strap around Roddy,
Hmm.
like his neck and head, and he submits and he wins there.
Hmm.
Then we had a backstage interview with Candice and Gargano. Um, Candice walks off, and then you hear people fighting, and she's fighting with Mia Yim
Hmm.
backstage. Johnny goes over, and Isaiah Swerve Scott's there, and Johnny and him get in like a argument, and agents and refs come and try to break all four of them up.
Hmm.
And then next week it was announced we have Mia Yim versus Candice LeRae in a street fight. Um, so that was
Yeah.
announced later in the show for this. So that's next week. Um, then we had an in-ring promo with. Did you want to say anything? Or I heard
Um.
you.
No. No.
Okay.
I was just reacting there, man.
Okay. Then we had an in-ring promo with Santos Escobar, which I just love that name. Standing says, and I might have got a little bit of this wrong, so don't kill me, people watching or listening. It. He wants to restore the legacy and image of the lucha libre style. I think I guess away from the masks and all the flips and all this stuff. I think he was going anti-mask there. I think that's what I heard.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Maverick what was that?
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Uh,
I would imagine too. And like honestly, it's a
since he
pretty good.
doesn't have a mask.
Yeah, because into I mean, you've kind of seen how WWE has actually booked with their mask guys, and I'm like not named Rey Mysterio,
Yeah, I don't.
obviously. So
I don't know if that's a inside shot or a shot in the foot. I don't
I
know.
mean, like
It could be more of a coincidence.
like a
Um,
Lucha House Party. That's all you need to say that.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
no, but I'm saying,
But
was
yeah,
that meant to be a shot, or
um,
was it just a coincidence that we have
it could be
Lucha
both.
House Party? It could be
Honestly,
both. I mean,
it could be both.
I'm not the writer. Maybe Triple H is sending a little passive aggressive shot.
I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah, that's true. Where am I? And then Maverick comes out. He had a neck brace on, but he rips it off. He runs to the ring to try to fight Santos, but the other two, again, whose names always, always I forget, fight him, and obviously the numbers are too much. Then we had Brazongo come out to help even the odds in the challenge those three for next week, and that was made official. So there's a 6-man tag match between Santos and his cronies and Maverick and Brazongo, which on paper with the talent should be fantastic. Um, then Cameron Grimes is backstage, and I guess he's saying after he beats, or maybe he's looking past. That's what I should say. Looking past Damian Priest, and wants either Lee or Cole, which is hilarious. Um, I mean, he's playing the stuck up son of a bitch pretty damn good because He thinks he's all that in a bag of chips, if I can summon a phrase from Johnny Bravo. Then we get to the main event with no commercials. Thank you, Mountain Dew. Apparently, that was the sponsor. Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks, which was not the finger poke of doom, like John was saying when we were texting.
Hey, it was a valid thought.
If that's a valid thought, I don't want to see what a non-valid thought is. Anywho, this was pretty. I mean, this was damn good. I don't know what else you would expect, unless you're John. He.
Finger poke of doom.
There was no finger. There was no fingerprint. This ain't WCW. At the end, we had the ref got distracted. I think Bailey was distracting the ref, and then I think Sasha was grabbing the title. I forget what lead up to it because I kind of just missed it. But Asuka appeared, I think, from underneath the ring, hit the green mist in Sasha's face, and Io Shirai hits the beautiful moonsault. Charlotte. That's what, did I say that out loud? For the win. And Justin LaBar tweeted, and I miss this little detail about it. Let me pull this up real quick so I can get the whole thing. Reddit. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, here we go. So this was from Justin LaBar. You can check this out on your own. It was after getting the miss, they kept Sasha's face away from the ref until the count of 3 and the match was over. Io covered Sasha's face with her leg on the pin, then props to the ref for then selling the confusion when he sees the green face. The little things go a long way. And when Sasha got hit with the moonsault, I think Io had her, or however it happened, Sasha was on her stomach, so her face was hidden. So it wasn't like if you've seen in the past, you've seen multiple times, you have a missed or any other shenanigan happens, and the ref can clearly see something happen, but it's like, oh, what the hell. Here, it was the little things. They hid it until the end, and the ref sold it. And after the count of 3, which, it's like LaBar said, it's the little things that make the difference, which I kind of missed if you're not looking for it. So, good work there. So, overall, I think it was a decent show. I mean, some good, some bad. It sounds like, at least for you, we could say the same thing about AEW, but it seemed like there was more positives than negatives.
Yeah, I mean, as far as on like Dynamite's part, I mean, there was like really small things, but like there wasn't like something that just was so clearly bad about this show. From a creative standpoint, it's more of interest because I do feel like that there definitely are building something with Cody as far as like whether they do some like new version of a like Four Horsemen, or if he does go down towards a heel turn, which I would be completely open with at this point. It's just going to be interesting as far as NXT goes. It's going to be interesting for next week. Do we get a new champion? And something else I was thinking too, Matt, as far as for Dynamite, this kind of with them pushing back Moxley and Cage, kind of works out perfectly for them, so that they are not going up against NXT's world title match there. So
Yes.
it kind of worked out that way.
Unless NXT counters for something else we don't know,
Which they probably will, but
they probably will. it's not going to be a brand show. I
No,
don't think. I think it's just
no.
they might just stack a
They'll
a,
probably.
a good main event.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I'm not expecting anything crazy, especially with everything that they had lined up for these 2 weeks. But you know, we'll see what happens. But supposedly, I think the Observer said that they were taping um 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 on like a night two of a Fire Fest, so that's probably why they push back Moxley and Cage. He's probably not even there,
Which
I'm
makes sense.
which I'm not surprised about that, especially too with Renee because you like figure who else would be around her more. I mean, so I'm so good on them, and I think that's pretty much all that I have to say about this. Hopefully next week is just as good as it was this week, or if not better. So we'll see.
Yep. So with that, we're gonna end this fun technical podcast.
Yeah.
On that note, yeah, damn Google Meet. Can we just have a video chat that
That
a
doesn't suck.
platform
That doesn't suck.
that works and you can get grid view and everything? Skype you can't, at least to my knowledge. Zoom, you get more than two people and you have a 40-minute limit. And for some reason, I couldn't sign in. I'm sitting here going, really? What's the deal?
Just
I mean,
one
I'm
of the
signing
nights, man.
one of those
Just one
nights. So with
of
that,
those nights.
let us get off. It is 11:08. Stay tuned on Saturday for our weekly podcast episode,
Mm-hmm.
which will air at 3 p.m. on YouTube here on the channel, and we'll be back for another reaction for week 2 of AEW. My mouth has technical difficulties for AEW Dynamite version of Firefest and NXT Great American Bash week 2, which should be another excellent week of wrestling. So for John, I am Matt. Thanks for watching or listening, and we'll see you on Saturday.